Keynote's Text Tools. Hey everyone, it's Mike here from learnhowtopresent.com. Hope you're doing well. And today what I want to talk to you about is Keynote's Text Tools. I want to go over some of the more of the advanced features, and then I want to show you some basic things you can do with text and some general objects. So let's get into it. So first thing, guys, let's dive right in. Let's not waste any time. So first thing I'm going to do is add in my slide. So I'm going to add in a basic slide. And you can see right away, Keynote wants to it's telling me double click and edit. So actually I don't even have to double click and edit. I can actually just simply start typing. So I'm going to start typing for my first bit of text here. This is my first text box. Okay, and I'm just going to click off of that. So there I go. I have my first bit of text. It's that easy. Now, what can we do with text? So you're probably used to working with a document processing or word processing program. And when you try to modify, or when you want to modify some text, you usually have to select the text, right? So you can click and drag, you can drag and that sort of thing. You may not be coordinated to do that, but I want you to know and think of working with Keynote. And when you're working with tools in Keynote, you're usually working with boxes that are placed onto the slide. So in this instance, we have a text box. You can also have image boxes. You can also have freeform boxes or chart boxes. So in this case, I have my box selected. Now you need to know that anything you have or anything that's contained inside of the box is going to be affected by your formatting options. So anytime you select your box and you choose a formatting option, such as bold, italicize, font size, color, that sort of thing, it's going to be affected, or it's going to affect anything that's contained within your box. So now that we have our first text on our slide, let's say we want to move this around. What can we do? So I'm actually just going to change this to say title. I want to have this title up on, let's say, the top middle. Now I can click and drag. Okay, so I simply just click my mouse to select the box and just drag. And what you're seeing, those yellow bars, are Keynote's alignment guides. Now these guides are pretty cool because what they let me do is to help me align the object on the screen, and especially helps when you're having multiple objects on screen. Now again, I could try and do this and I could sit here all day. Oh, there's my vertical one, but just simply select the box, right click, say align and center. Now that centers the box. And if I just right click again, say align and top, it's going to slam it right up to the top middle. So now I know for sure I'm dead center top middle. Now, you know what? That looks a little bit too tight to the top because it's right to the top of the box where I asked it to go. Now I want to show you the nudge tool. So the nudge tool just simply means to nudge or to move slightly. Now again, I'm going to select the text box that I just made. And if I just use my up, down, left, right keys, I can again move the box ever so slightly. Now if I want to move in more significant increments, I can actually just hold down the shift key on my keyboard. And again, just use my up, down, left, right. And that actually moves the box by approximately 5 to 10 points at a time. So I'm just gonna move it right about there. It looks good to me. Okay, so now that we have our title set in place, what I wanna show you is adding or modifying some more text. So let's go ahead and click the add text box. You can do that here by clicking on your toolbar, or you can go to the insert menu and click on text box there. Okay, cool. So we have our text on screen. And again, we can highlight the text or select the box by selecting the text here. Now, if we head over to the styles inspector area here. So in the styles area, you can obviously modify the style with some preset options. So again, it's giving you a visual indicator here, guys. It's telling you, this one here, this particular option is a blue fill with white text, orange, green, purple, that sort of thing. If that gets you excited, you can choose one of those. So again, if you just select one of those, you can see what it's doing. And if I don't want that, I'm just going to reset that back to what I had. Okay, so that's the basic styles in terms of these shape styles. Again, my text box is highlighted, so I can check out fill. So what is fill? Fill is simply the filling the area around the actual box, again, contained within my text box. So if I say color fill, again, I can choose my color here. Again, pretty straightforward. Again, you have to determine whether or not you would use this in your slide. Don't go crazy, and keep it, always keep it simple, keep it clean. So let's go back to no fill. So border, again, pretty straightforward. I can select line border. I can choose the type of line I can adjust the color of the line by choosing one of these options here. And again, the line thickness, pretty straightforward, right? Again, if I go down here, I can build, or can layer on these effects by clicking shadows. I can add a drop shadow. I can go to town here if I want to do this. Now, if you want to keep your job, please don't go crazy and use all of these things at once. They're just for illustration purposes. So I'm just going to click off no shadow. Opacity, again, you can adjust the opacity of the text objects or the whole object if you have one here. And you can see I can slide it with using the slider. I can type in the actual percentage points if I want there. So again, I'm just going to highlight this object and just go back to no border here. So no border. So again, if you just want to make sure you don't have any styles selected, just make sure you're on no, and no shadow there. Okay. So now that we've gone over the basic style options, let's again select our text box and go back to the text menu up here. So this is what you're typically used to seeing on a document processor or word processing app. Again, you have your font here. Again, you can choose one of the pre-selected fonts, or if you've installed some fonts on your system, you can go ahead and use those. And again, within each font has some options in terms of modifying the style, regular, medium, light. It goes on and on. The font size, pretty straightforward. Again, you can key in the entry here if you want, or you can use the up and down arrow keys to select that. Bold, italicize, underline, again, pretty straightforward stuff. The gear icon here is interesting because you can actually do some advanced options such as increasing the character spacing. So depending on the font, some fonts, depending on the style, you might want to adjust the character spacing to suit your needs or suit your taste. So again, you can have a look at the more advanced options in here under the gear icon. The text, again, the font color, again, you can change here. Again, if you want to change your font for some reason, you can do that here under the font color options here. So let's select that back to default, which is black. All right, so we have our title set. Now let's talk about some more text alignment options that we have. So just like most of word processing apps that you're used to using, you have your 3 core set of alignment options here, guys. Down again, I'm on the text option here and I'm under alignment. I'm looking at left, center, right, justify, pretty straightforward. Here we have the indentation levels. So again, increase, decrease indentation. And then down here, you have your align with top of the box, middle of the box, and bottom of the box. Again, remember when you're inserting a text box, it's going to give you a box, and anything contained within that box will result in the formatting of that box. So now let's add some text here so we can get some going and you can actually see what this is all about. So again, I have my text box here. And again, once it's highlighted, I don't need to select it. I don't need to double click it, I should say. Just go ahead and start typing. So this is a list. And again, I'm just going to enter a few items here. So let's just say, I actually feel like a burger. So I'm going to add some items here that are burger related. So relish, mustard, let's add some ketchup. What else do you guys like? I like peppers. And what else? Let's say lettuce. Okay, that's good enough for now. So we have some basic text on screen. And again, click the box or click the area around to select. Now, one thing you'll notice is that, again, I'm getting these left and right resize options here. So again, hold those and I can expand my list to the way I like it in terms of size and shape. Again, it's a personal preference, whatever you like. Now, personally, I want my text box over here, let's say. And again, I notice that once my box is selected, I can play with my alignment here. So again, center alignment within the box, right alignment within the box, and left alignment. So that looks good to me. So now let's say I want to indent this list. And again, I can increase the indentation here. And again, down here, I might want to adjust the spacing. Again, you always want to think about your readers, guys. Think about your readers, think about your audience from their seat in the audience. What are they looking? Is it easy for them to read? So again, we want to make it easy for them. So I might have to go to 1.2 or maybe 1.5. Again, personal preference, but again, always keep in mind your audience and the size of your room. So maybe 1.2 looks good to me there. So now again, I have my object selected here and I can play with my bullet list here. So again, right now I could drop this down. I could say bullets. Again, pretty straightforward. If you like bullets, again, some people hate bullets, some people don't. whatever you like. I personally wouldn't recommend them. It's really not necessary. It's kind of redundant. So I would say no bullets. But again, you can add image bullets if you really want to get crazy. You can come down here and pick an image that you like. You can select through these options. Maybe you want it to have check marks for some reason, but there you go. So that's the basic alignment, guys. So again, once you have your text box selected, choose your alignment options over here. Okay, great. So we've talked a bit about basic formatting. We've talked about some general alignment stuff. So let's move on next, which is paragraph styles. Now you might be thinking, guys, why are we talking about paragraph styles? So paragraph styles are actually important or can be useful in Keynote, and let me show you. So let's go ahead and add a new slide by clicking Add Slide. And again, it's asking us to double click to edit, but we know we don't have to double click. Let's just start typing, and we're going to click Title, and we're going to quickly resize the box, and we're going to drag this. We don't want to drag it. We want to align it to the center, right? And align to the top, and then nudge down by Shift and down. So there we go. We have our title set in the position that we want. Now I want you to look over here to the right under text and just click the drop down or the flip down arrow next to text here, and you'll see paragraph styles. So again, paragraph styles are basically a set of options. So you can have your color, your font size, all sorts of options set here as a style. It's a quick style. So again, you can choose one of these styles. And if you notice, right now it has the check mark here. So I'm actually using title small. But if I were to click one of these styles, it's going to change to the set or the preset set of options that are within that style. So I'm going to go back to title small. And I'm going to make the title, or I'm going to make a paragraph style for myself. So again, I suggest you do this. So go ahead, click here and add a paragraph style and just call it, let's say my title. Okay. So now that I have that selected, hit return, it's going to, you can see it set it as a default, or it's setting as the current or active style. And what I can do now, again, it's selected here. I can change these options. So I like the Helvetica font. I'm going to use that. Let's say I want to change my title to be bold, and you know what? I'd like this to be a bit bigger. Let's say 110. So I'm going to enter 110 here, and let's just pretend I like underlined, etc., etc. And let's also change the color, maybe to, we don't want nuclear green. Let's just say money green. How's that? So again, I've changed my title, and you can see it's got an asterisk next to it, and it's also asking to update. So what if I click on update, which I just did, it's now updated my title paragraph style with all of these options here, which is really cool. So anytime I come in here and I want a particular style, I can just click my title and it's going to give me the options that I've selected. So again, if you're working in a company that has a preset set of standards or font styles or colors, you can go ahead and do that there. So now that I've shown you how to make your own paragraph style, which is great for your title, let's go ahead and make a paragraph style for the body text, right? Or main caption text. So next, what we want to do, let's just go ahead and add a slide so I can illustrate this for you. And again, it's giving us our default text box to edit. So again, I'm just going to add some text in here just for illustration purposes. This is a test. And again, let's resize this to kind of encompass the majority of the slide. So again, depending on your context of your slide, the content of your slide, again, you can make this how you like. So a couple of options I want to make note of. You typically want to have on left line here and less aligned to the top of the box. That way, when we duplicate our slide and we're typing at our contents, it's filling the contents of the slide. Again, guys, please keep it simple. If you make a slide like this, I'm going to be very upset. So please don't do this. So again, you need to adjust, obviously, your spacing here, things like that. Now, I went a bit overboard here, guys, but I'm just showing you as an example, right? So again, let's create our text, which we've done here. Move over here to our paragraph style, and let's click add, and let's make this my body. Let's just call it my body, or whatever you want to call it, right? Just hit return. And again, you've selected that. Now let's say I want to make this, I'll make this a bit bigger. And I want to change the font color to that, let's just say, and again, do this to your heart's content. So now that I've done that, again, I've selected my text box, there's my body, and it's asking me, Keynote's asking me to update the style. See, update all paragraphs to use the style, and I click update. So now what I might want to do is to drop in my title. So let's drop that guy in here. So again, to do that, I just simply copy, Control C, and Control V, paste right there. So again, I've built a basic or a foundational slide that I can reuse over and over and over. Now to do that, again, just look over in your navigator pane here. To reuse this, simply right click on the slide and select duplicate. Or if you want to use the keyboard shortcut, just hit Command D, will give you a duplicate slide. That way, now that you have your slide, you can go in here and actually customize this to something that's meaningful to you. These are just test products. And then as I said, just fill in your text to whatever is meaningful for you. Okay guys, so we've covered some general formatting, we've covered some general alignment options, and I've also shown you how to use paragraph styles and how you can use those to make a default slide for you. So now what I want to show you is how to work with text and objects in a general way. So let's add a new slide. And I'm just going to delete this text box here. Now I'm just going to add a simple box here, and I'm just going to add in some text and keep this really simple for this example. So I've added in some text, let's call it phase 1. And now I want to add in a shape. Now, when you're adding or inserting shapes, you can do that by clicking here on your top toolbar. And when you look at the shape menu, you'll see there's a series of pages, and you know that by looking at these circle options here, and you can page through the list of shapes. And again, they're just different by way of color. So I want to select a transparent option here, and just to give it a bit of, a little bit of pop. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to align these two things together, and I can't seem to do it. So what I need to do is to simply select the object. So you can select your text object, you can hold down Shift and then select the shape object, or you can just simply drag to select both objects. Okay, so now what I'm getting here is an option to align the object. So again, looking under the arrange section here, and then under alignment, if you select center and then align it to the middle. So now my object is perfectly aligned, or my text, I should say, is aligned perfectly within my shape object here. So now that I've created a nice little phase 1 box shape there, I want to move this over here onto the left of my page. So let's go ahead and drag that. Oh crap, what happened? You know what happened, guys? I didn't select both objects. Now, you could try and select both objects and move them along, but what's going to happen over time is as you select and create and duplicate this object over time, or over your course of your slide, you're going to get things moving out of alignment. So what you want to do is to group your two objects together. So again, you can do that by selecting both objects, select the shape box, select your text box. You can do that by holding on the shift key and clicking, or you can simply drag over to select them both, and then click over here under arrange and then group. So now what you've created is a group which contains this one item here. So now you can simply grab that and you can move it anywhere you want, and it's going to stay together. And again, you can see my alignment guides are coming into play here nicely. But again, I can't, for some reason, I can't see it or whatever. So let's just right click on it, click on center, and then we want to align this to the left, right? And let's align it down to the middle. Again, it's a bit too far to the left, so I'm just going to shift and right arrow over like that. And then again, I want to duplicate again. So now that I have that in place, I want to duplicate that guy. So let's just highlight it, Command C and then Command V. Move that along nicely to the center like that. And again, Command C, Command V. Move that guy right there. So again, you can select all of these objects like this and select distribute and let's make sure they're even. Okay, and now let's just finish this off by adjusting the text here so we're correct. So we have phase 1, phase 2, and this is obviously going to be phase 3. Cool, so we have our shape on our slide with some text in it. And again, always remember, you want to help your audience. You want to show them exactly, you want to show them explicitly what you want them to know or understand. So we want to show them the flow of information in this case. So we want to go from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3, let's say. Now, you may look at your shapes. Again, we're coming up to the toolbar here under shapes, and you may look at your shape options and say, look, there's Mike, I have an arrow here, have some arrows there. I can just drop that in, right? So let me just show you what will happen here if you use one of these arrows. So go ahead and click that shape, and you'll notice it drops in, Keynote drops in a freeform shape. And again, it is an arrow, and it's giving me the option to resize, but you'll notice it's giving me the alignment guides, which is one of your cues that this is not right and this is way too much work, right? So let's just try it anyway. So again, we have the line there, the line selected. And when I have my line selected, I can come and adjust the style here on the right. So let's say I want a solid line and I want a solid color. I just want you to see this clearly. And let's beef this up to 6 point. Boom. So there I go, right? I have my line, I'm good to go. But you'll notice, let's just zoom in here and take a quick peek, that you'll notice it's not a clean connection. And that's your first indication that something's not right here. So let's just back this out. And the other thing you'll notice is that these are not dynamic and they're not dynamically connected. So what does that mean? That means, what? If I were to add in more objects here and to move these things around, now I have to go and reconnect this all, and this is just getting sloppy, and this is just getting to be a lot more work, and you're not going to be happy. So let's just back this out here real quick, and let's just delete this guy. And that's not the way we want to do things. So let's do it the correct way. So what we want to do is to create a dynamic connection between our objects. So the first thing you want to do is select your first object, and remember, we grouped this object into one, so it doesn't matter where I move it, it's going to be one. And let's hold down the command key and select the second object. So again, we have our first point selected, and then we have our second point selected. And then what we're going to do is come up to your insert menu, and we want to insert a line. And you'll notice there's a straight connection line, curved connection lines, and angled. Let's just keep it simple and use a straight connection line. And boom, it places a nice connection point. You can see it's locked in place. It's found the first point. It's found the end point. And again, it's selected. So I want to come over here to my style. And let's jazz this up a bit. So let's make a color so you can see it. Let's make it red, and let's go to 6 points so you can see it. And again, look at the endpoints. It doesn't say here, but this is actually the left endpoint here. And to the right here, this is the right endpoint. So again, we're going from left to right in terms of flow of information for our audience. And there you go. We have a nice dynamically connected line. So again, once you have the line selected, notice that you can actually adjust this line. So if you grab that green control point, you can actually drag this line. And for some reason, if you wanted to have a curved line like that, for whatever reason, you can do that. And again, so these are dynamically connected. And again, what does that mean? I can actually move this around now and adjust it wherever I want on screen. And because these two objects, phase 1 and phase 2, are dynamically connected here with this connector, I can move them around nicely. So let's finish this off, and let's get this back to the center point, right? There you go. Just a side note, if you do want to use the shapes on the toolbar to insert a dynamic connector, you can do that. Just click on your shapes and just ensure you're using this option here. This option here is your dynamic connector to join two objects, not this one. This one here, again, is just a free form line. This is your dynamic connector to join two objects. Cool, so we have our phase 1 and phase 2 connected. Let's go ahead and finish off, and let's connect phase 2 to phase 3. So again, we're going to select the first point, again, which happens to be phase 2 in this case. And let's go ahead and hold down the command key and then select phase 3. So that'll be our endpoint. And let's go back up to insert, and then we're going to insert a line, and we want a straight connection line. So it drops in a nice connector line there. And all we need to do now is to redo our style, because we want to keep it consistent. And again, you have to come back over here and redo the style. And I know you're thinking, you're like, Mike, there's got to be an easier way. And of course there is. So rather than redoing this, because you're not going to remember, which line you picked and which color and which size. So all you want to do is select your first connector line. And what we want to do is to copy this style, or copy the attributes of this line, right? So we're going to come up here, and we're going to click on Format, and then copy style, or if you like the command or the keyboard shortcut, it's Option Command C. So again, I've selected my line. I want Option Command C to copy the style, and let's select the second connector and Option Command V to paste the style. So again, there you go, boom, it's pretty quick and easy, and you have your styles nicely aligned and everyone's happy. So again, everything's dynamically connected now. Doesn't matter where you move these on the page. Maybe you want something like this in terms of illustration. Again, whatever you like, you can do that now because everything's dynamically connected and you can move them around the screen. So that's a wrap, guys. What we covered was some general formatting options in terms of text. I showed you some alignment options. We talked about paragraph styles and how we can use those to leverage Keynote in terms of being more efficient with regards to styles and colors and things like that. And we also talked about some general work with text and objects and the importance of grouping the object together when you want to move them around the page. So that's it for now, guys. Go ahead and hit the like button. If you like the channel, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.